Uncle Weezy in the spot, bringing stats like a kingpin. MMA knowledge meets his nephews all lean in. Breaking down fights, codes that daddy supreme on. Just a tip show, he's cooking up a dream. Uncle Weezy, he the man. Dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand. MMA guru, more than just a fan. Wanna know the numbers? Weezy got them cataloged. From the fighters reach down to how many times they dog. Just a tip living, breaking it down slick. Hit you with the knowledge, won't miss a single trick. Uncle Weezy, he the man. Dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand. MMA guru, more than just a fan. Balls, deep predictions, he be making those calls. Getting in the details, opponents feeling small. From jabs to takedowns, got the whole fight ID. Uncle Weezy spitting truth, no lie, keep it G. Blow the horn, blow the horn. Stat Daddy Weezy not showing no scorn. Fight night kingdom, he wearing the crown. Break it down for the peeps, never looking like a clown.
Oh, yes. What's going on, everybody? It is Friday afternoon. We just had the weigh-ins for UFC Vegas 99, a card that is going to be headlined by an absolutely fantastic fight between Anthony Fluffy Hernandez and Michelle Pereira. This is a really fun fight card, but there are some really greasy fights on this card. So, yeah, it was a little bit tricky coming up with a greasy four-leg parlay for this week, but we did it. I've got it ready to go for you guys, and I figure the best way to start out with this parlay that we're going to give you guys today is just to kind of go through my picks. I've been doing all content on my Patreon and on my Dub Club. If you check out the Patreon and Dub Club, we got about 4 hours of subscriber-only content, including balls deep breakdowns every week and including probability every week. Going to start having some guests on probability on a weekly basis to bounce the ideas and the models off of another mind. Whether it was Brady in the past, he's probably going to join us, once in a while on that show. But I'm trying to get other cappers involved as well to get that show to the next level and to get my Patreon and Dub Club memberships to the next level. I'm thinking about doing a special for UFC 308, which is coming up next week. Or I don't know if it's 307 or 308. Don't care. But it's in Abu Dhabi, and there's 14 fights. And it's going to be headlined by Kennedy and Zechiku against Fat Barnett. It's the fight of the year, ladies and gentlemen. So that one is going to be a great one. Keep an eye out for a special on my Dub Club for next week, where you could sign up for a month at a reduced price to check out all the subscriber-only content that I'm doing on that Patreon, on that Dub Club, that's going to help you guys make better long-term gambling decisions, help you be long-term plus money gamblers, which is the most important thing. Don't lose money, going at your hobby. And you don't want to do that. It's not fun when you're losing money. We want to win money. And we're coming off a heater last week, up over 9 units last week, hit almost every bet. The one bet that did not cash was the CJ Vergara plus 3.5 points handicap. That wound up submarining the Greasy four-legger last week. But for those of you who don't have plus 3.5 points handicaps, I gave out an alternate four-legger, which did hit, and it hit at better than plus 500. So hopefully for you guys that did hit on the Greasy four-legger last week, we can get another one here this week for you guys. But I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to go through my picks, and then we're going to go through what I've got for the Greasy four-leg parlay this week. So Despain round 1 KO is the pick here. I kind of feel like the under 1.5 rounds is a pretty solid parlay piece. I feel that if Austin Lane gets a takedown in round 1, he could potentially finish this fight. And if he doesn't, there's a really high likelihood that Despain is going to knock him out. And even if Lane is able to get a takedown like he did against Janice and not finish the fight, Despain will probably be live to get a knockout early in the second round as well. So I feel like Despain KO round 1, that's the pick. I don't have any tracked bets on this fight, but I feel like the under 1.5 rounds is a decent parlay piece this week. Next fight is about as greasy as it gets. Super Meli, Melissa Martinez, has fought once in the last 5 years. Once in the last 5 years, coming off a knee injury as well. And it has been 2 years since her last fight, which was a loss against Elise Reed, where she was out grappled by Elise Reed. Very bad. And then with Ardelian, I just, she was a short notice replacement against Shauna Bannon. She kept that fight very close. This is a greasy fight. I have no action on it. The pick is Martinez by decision. This is another very greasy fight. Jessica Penne is 41 years old. She's 3-5 in the UFC. 2 of those wins are by split decision, and you can make an argument that she lost those fights. And if that's the case, she would be 1-6 in the UFC. Or I'm sorry, 1-7 in the UFC. And then the Karolina Kowalkiewicz fight, she slipped throwing a kick, fell on her ass, and then actually invited Kowalkiewicz into her guard. And Kowalkiewicz, for some reason, obliged. And 3 minutes later, she wound up getting armbarred and finished. So I think that Jessica Penne is absolutely live to win this fight by decision or submission. But I just don't have a lot of faith in her ability to be able to get the fight to dominant positions where she's winning a ton of minutes with her grappling and potentially winning moments, getting a rear naked choke or an armbar finish. So Jessica's going to need to grapple here. And there's a giant hole in Elise Reed's grappling defense. So I think that Penne can win this fight, but because she's 41, because I just don't have a lot to hang my hat on in terms of her ability to get takedowns, her ability to be able to dominate in the grappling exchanges by having an offensive wrestling attack that's functional and that works. And because the 41 years old, because of the giant, difference in age here and the fact that Reed is still young and can be improving, I got to go with Elise Reed by decision. Jocelyn Edwards looked horrible on the scale today, and I am picking her to win by second round titty punch. Tamaris is not a great fighter in my opinion, so but this one is I can't stress enough. Stay away from this fight. Edwards looked awful on the scale. I'm not parlaying Edwards money line. I'm not taking shots on the KO here. I'm not going to back Vidal as an underdog either. The pick is Edwards by second round TKO. But I'm not touching that fight. This one, Brad Katona versus John Matsumoto. This is going to be the first leg of the Greasy 4-leg parlay, you guys. It's going to be John Matsumoto to win by decision. Let me do this real quick. I just want to get all these. There we go. Okay, cool. Sorry. All right. So I'm going to bring my DraftKings window up here. This parlay is going to come out to plus 595 on DraftKings, but it's going to come out to even better on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. So I will show you both lines at the end. But leg number 1 is going to be John Matsumoto to win by decision. That's sitting at minus 110 right now. If we go to my betting models here, which are available on my Patreon, I'm going to show you my over-under betting model for this fight. So for the fight goes to decision at minus 300. All 7 of Brad Katona's fights have went to decision at the UFC level. Brad Katona is a very durable guy who's never been finished as a professional. And he's a guy that's not very powerful in his own right. If we look at the stats for Katona, he's got no submission wins and no knockout wins at the UFC level. And he's only got 3 submission wins and 1 knockout win as a professional. That's in 14 wins. So that's a 28% finish rate. So there's virtually no finish upside on the Katona side. And then on the Matsumoto side, we have a 60% finish rate as he's won 9 of his 15 pro wins inside the distance. But a guy in Katona who's got 17 professional fights and has never been finished. I think that Matsumoto is going to be the one throwing more strikes. He's going to be the one landing the more impactful strikes, and he kicks a lot more than Brad does. I think that we're going to see John kind of tear up the lead leg here of Brad Katona, because Brad is somebody who relies on his hands in order to get his offense going. He is a boxer, so he's going to be heavy on that lead leg, and Gene Matsumoto is somebody that attacks the lead leg. I loved the win over Casey Tanner. I thought that was an excellent win. And if you're thinking that Brad Katona is going to out-wrestle Gene Matsumoto, Dan Argueta is a much better wrestler than Brad Katona is. And, Gene just kept getting up, just kept making Dan work. And Brad is not that, doesn't have that much wrestling volume either. So I do like Gene to win this fight. I'm going to trust Brad Katona's durability and his veteran instincts to try to wrestle, to try to clinch up, to try to slow this fight down and get it into the areas where he could potentially win the minutes. But we don't have to worry about Katona, like landing the bigger shots, I don't think. I don't think we have to worry about him like just drowning Matsumoto on the ground. So I think if those two things, if I'm right about that, we're going to see John Matsumoto win the minutes of this fight on his way to a decision here. So first leg of the parlay is going to be Matsumoto to win by decision. The next fight is going to be Mateus Nicolau versus Asu Almabayev. I have Almabayev winning this fight by decision. I don't think that we've seen Mateus Nicolau face anyone yet outside of the Tim Elliott fight that has really shown a lot of the willingness to wrestle against Mateus. And while this is at distance striking range, Mateus Nicolau is very low volume, and he's very reliant on landing precise big shots, landing knockdowns. It's something he's done a lot of, but he's also been knocked down a lot, and we know that Mateus Nicolau is chinny. So I do think that Asu is the best wrestler by far that he's faced. Tim Elliott's a very good wrestler, but Tim Elliott's not known for one takedown and then the round is over because he's just going to be on top of you. Tim Elliott's very easy to get up from underneath. Asu Almabayev is the opposite of that. So I think we're going to see Asu being the one doing the pressuring here, and that pressure is going to set up the takedown attempts. And while it may not be easy for him to get them early, as Mateus Nicolau was somebody who has 94% takedown defense, I do think that we're going to see Asu not losing decisively while this fight is on the feet, and I think he's going to win in the clinch, and I think he is eventually going to get takedowns, get to dominant positions, and win the minutes on the ground. I don't have a bet for this fight, but the pick is going to be Almabayev by decision. The next one, I've got Daniel Pineda to win by decision, and he's never won a decision in his career, but from what I've seen lately, I think Pineda's fighting at a higher level than Darren Elkins is. Pineda having impressive performances in losses against guys like Alex Caceres and Nathaniel Wood, I think are pretty good harbingers of the fact that he's fighting at a little bit higher level than Elkins is right now. I favor Pineda's striking, and I think that Pineda is a good enough grappler and dangerous enough with his submission attempts to not lose the minutes, even if he gets tired against Darren Elkins on the mat. Darren Elkins is an extremely high-level grappler. We've only seen Darren Elkins submitted once in his entire pro career, and that was by Charles Oliveira, and it was back in like 2013. Darren Elkins is a very underrated grappler. So because I don't really rate Elkins as being a guy who has any knockout power at this point in his career, and because Daniel Pineda is a capable enough grappler and dangerous enough in his own right, I don't see Daniel Pineda getting submitted by Darren Elkins. Pineda does have early power, but Darren Elkins is extremely durable. And I don't think that anybody is submitting Darren Elkins right now. So my pick here is that Pineda is going to be landing the bigger shots on the ground. I think the grappling exchanges are going to be very close. I think both guys can get takedowns here, as Darren Elkins has less than 50% takedown defense at the UFC level. So I think that this is going to be a close fight. And I think that Pineda is going to be the much better striker and win the minutes at distance striking range by landing the bigger, more impactful shots, including calf kicks that he's known for. And I think that the ground exchanges are going to be close. And I think Pineda's cardio is going to hold up a little bit better than everybody thinks it is. Pineda by decision is the pick. The second leg of the Greasy 4-leg parlay is going to be the over 2.5 rounds at plus 120 on DraftKings Sportsbook. So we are going to go to the fight lines here. And we're going to go to Elkins Pineda over 2.5 rounds, is sitting at plus 120. That brings the second leg of this parlay. Now we're up to plus 320 here on 2 legs. So yeah, and I know that's people don't want to bet overs in Pineda fights, but you got to remember Pineda is has only been finished in 1 of 5 UFC losses. These guys are both right around 40 years old. You know, the finishing equity for both guys is getting lower and lower and lower as they get further and further into their careers. And, you know, these new gloves are not doing anybody any favors when it comes to getting finishes. So love the over 2.5 rounds here. It's a tracked bet at plus 135 for me for plus 1.5 units this week. And it's the only bet that I have so far, but I will be adding more. Leg number 3, or first, let's just go through the picks here. After that, I've got Hadley by decision. I didn't really research this fight much, but Cameron Smotherman, I think, is going to be able to keep this close on the feet. I don't have a lot of faith in Jake Hadley's ability to be able to offensively wrestle. I know that Cameron Smotherman won't be wrestling here. So I kind of feel like this is going to be a striking match mostly, where Hadley and Smotherman are going to be well matched. And I think what Hadley does win in the grappling exchanges will be enough to get his hand raised at the end. But because I don't have a lot of faith in Jake's ability to be able to get offensive takedowns, I see this fight going the full 3 rounds, and I'm going to pick Jake Hadley by decision. I've got Charles Johnson by decision against Sumaderji, but I don't want to lay minus 210 on Charles Johnson because that line has baked in that Charles Johnson's definitely going to wrestle and have grappling success. And we just haven't seen Charles do it enough offensively at the UFC level to be confident enough to lay minus 210 that Charles is in fact going to go out there and wrestle against Sumaderji, which he does have to do. He has to do, because if this fight is going to be at distance striking range, Sumaderji is one of the best strikers in the division. And I think that Su's actually the better striker here. I think he's way more likely to land the bigger shots. And the southpaw style, the straight left hand, the great kicks that Sumaderji has in order to be able to maintain distance. I think that this is going to be very close, and I think it slightly favors Su on the feet. I do think that Charles is going to wrestle here. He's been training at Fusion Excel for this camp, very good jiu-jitsu camp. So I think that there's a possibility he could get a takedown and find a submission because, you know, Sumaderji's got 6 pro losses. All 6 of them come by submission. So Charles does have some submission upside here, but it's not really his game, you know. So I think that he's going to probably win the minutes, keep it close on the feet, win the minutes with the grappling and the wrestling, and win a decision here. I got Kyler Phillips winning a decision against Rob Font, but I'm thinking about making a bet for fight doesn't go to decision here. The third leg of the parlay is going to be the Kyler Phillips money line at minus 455. Let me get that in there for you guys. Well, he's actually moved to minus 500 now. That brings us up to plus 404 here on DraftKings Sportsbook. Look, I mean, I think Rob Font is going to lose the moments of this feat the moments of this fight at distance striking range, and the takedown defense and get up game isn't good enough for me to be confident that he's going to win any minutes in the grappling exchanges here. So I think that if Kyler ever gets to the point where he is worried about losing minutes on the feet, he can just start wrestling and win minutes there. So I think that this is Kyler's fight to lose. And I think that, you know, it would be a perfect fight by Rob Font where he stuffs all the takedowns, stays busier than Kyler, avoids the big shots on the feet, which he's had a very difficult time doing lately, and just outworks and outjabs Phillips on his way to a decision. I think he'd have to fight a perfect fight in order for that to happen. And I think Kyler Phillips is a nice safe leg here at minus 500 to bring us up to plus 404 on this parlay after 3 legs. That brings us to the last prediction of the night, which is going to be a Fluffy Hernandez 3rd round submission against Michel Pereira. This is a fight. I mean, I actually have Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week as Anthony Fluffy Hernandez to shave the ass of Michel Pereira, but I'm not very confident in it. I didn't even want to make an ass shaving of the week pick this week because you got the card starts with 4 of the greasiest fucking fights that there is, and you could pick the Spain, but like who cares? He's minus 350, and everybody knows that if he's going to win in round one. So I didn't want to touch that fight. Didn't touch any of the 3 women's fights, obviously. So it left you with very limited options. And because Hernandez is somebody that I'm picking, and I'm also picking him to finish, I made him the ass shaving of the week. But I think that the best bet to make here is that somebody gets a finish, because Pereira is so explosive, and Anthony Hernandez has bad striking defense. That, I mean, it's absolutely possible that Pereira just goes out there and sparks this dude, lands something big, plants Hernandez on his ass, just gets on top of him, and just throws punches until the ref steps in, or catches, gets his arm around his neck while Hernandez is trying to figure out where he is and how to get back to his feet. We've seen it so many times. 3 times in Pereira's last 3 fights, 3 minutes and 1 second total over 3 fights, 3 first-round finishes. So we know that he can explosively finish fights early. And we know that if Hernandez gets his pressure game going, starts with the wrestling, and then eventually starts getting takedowns and getting the dominant positions, it's just a matter of time before he breaks you with the constant pressure. He refuses to fuck off. He gives you no room to breathe. He never stops moving forward. And when you hit him in the face, he just smiles and gives you the peace sign. And then he starts throwing elbows while he's walking you down. He's a nightmare of a matchup for anybody. And if you slow down late in fights, Jah help you against Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. So I'm picking Hernandez to win by 3rd round submission. But the last leg of the parlay is going to be the under 3.5 rounds for this fight, which is sitting at minus 280. So we're going to go here under fight lines to alternative total rounds. Scroll down to the bottom. 3.5 rounds under at minus 280 brings our parlay up to plus 584 on DraftKings Sportsbook. If we do this parlay on Bet Rivers Sportsbook, though, we're getting plus 635. So it came out to plus 595 on DraftKings Sportsbook, but that moved to plus 586 because the Kyler Phillips line moved from minus 455 to minus 500. But here on Bet Rivers Sportsbook, it actually comes out to plus 635. So either way, 595, 635. If we're cashing this parlay, we're doing really well. But just really quick, everybody, the picks are the Spain KO round 1. Super Meli, Melissa Martinez to win by decision. Elise Reed to win by decision. Jocelyn Edwards by 2nd round titty punch. Jean Matsumoto by decision. Asu Almabayev by decision. Daniel Pineda by decision. Jake Hadley by decision. Charles Johnson by decision. Kyler Phillips by decision. And Anthony Fluffy Hernandez to win by 3rd round submission. There you guys go. What's up with you guys in the chat? How are you guys doing? We got my guy Manny, the first in the room with the GOAT there. What is happening, Manny? Good to see you hanging out, brother. We've got Real Fight Picks in the room saying, what up, Thelios? Who do you have for the barn burner, Reed or Penny? I'm picking Reed by decision, but I don't think that an underdog shot on Jessica Penne is a bad idea. And I think Jessica Penne by submission or decision are both paths to victory here if she gets what she needs in the grappling exchanges of this fight. We got Tyler Ray in the room saying, what's good? Love that Sopranos picture. That's awesome, Tyler. Thanks for hanging out, man. We got Jeff K in the room saying, Weezy, what's up? What's up, Jeff? Good to see you, my man. We've got AN in the room saying, let's go. What is up, AN? We got my guy Broke D-Gen in the room saying, I love Angela Hill and Jessica Penne. I've been fans of them for a long time, but Angela Hill a lot longer. She's responded on my Twitter about her before even saying my sexy Angie abs on Cage Warriors. Yeah, man. Angela and Jessica have a podcast that they do together called Two Straws. So they've been training together for years over at Alliance MMA. And yeah, I mean, Angie Hill's a damn good fighter. I'm a big fan of hers. JP Taylor in the room saying it's Friday. You ain't got shit to do. Let's get high and chill with everyone's favorite uncle. Let's get greasy, friends. JP, what is up, dude? Good to see you hanging out in here. Broke D-Gen said every single time she fights, she gets destroyed in a disgusting way by the judges. She wins every fight, but loses on the judges' scorecards every time, and it pisses me off. Yeah, Angie Hill has never gotten any respect from the judges. That is for sure. We got AN saying, I'm in the Patreon, baby. Tiramisu 290. My man, AN, thank you for supporting the work. Truly appreciated. And I'm really looking to get that community built up because nobody's doing as much work, I think, and provides as much for $25. Everybody's providing picks, and some picks are better than others. But with my service, you're getting the fight write-ups, you're getting the access to the Discord, you're getting the betting models for over-under bets, for prop bets, you're getting the matchup stats, you're getting the individual fighter stats, and you're getting 4 hours of subscriber-only content that does not get put on YouTube. So I just don't see anybody that's providing that much value and putting in that much work. I mean, we got over 50 pages of fight write-ups for this week. So yeah, man, it's the Patreon, the Dub Club, phenomenal values. I would encourage you guys to check it out here at these addresses. They are in the description of this video if you want to support the work. Let's see what we got here. We got Larry in the room saying, what up, what up? Broke DGen saying not only are these judges incompetent, but they're also corrupt and literally fixing the fight. So yeah, when that story is done and me and Weezy release it, you guys are going to see how it is. Yeah, I think people already know, but like sometimes you just got to actually put in the work and prove it to everybody so that everybody sees. K-Deep saying, oi, join the Patreon, doing legendary things in there, GOAT. Appreciate you, K-Deep. Yeah, man, up over 9 units last week, so pretty kick-ass. We got, after Angela Hill fought last time, I had to block my best friend on Twitter at the time. He's actually an MMA personality I blocked forever because he wouldn't admit that she beat the midget shark. This morning, Jessica Penny had posted out she had a really easy weight cut and posted a picture of her waiting for the scales to open. She was one of the first people to the scales. And my first thoughts when I saw Jessica up there, I was like, damn, she's 41. She looked great. I mean, her body looked fantastic. She's clearly in shape for this fight. Their podcast called Two Straws, a great sexual innuendo podcast and really fun to listen to. And Angie is one of the best fighters of all time, and she should have 8 or 9 more wins. Yeah, I hear you, dude. We've got JP saying Asu by TKO DQ is plus 900 on Bet Rivers. Nicolau had a hard weight cut, and he's been KO'd 5 times at 120. I think it's only 4 times, JP Taylor, but he's been KO'd a lot. And maybe it was once as an amateur or something. Maybe that's what you're saying. But yeah, dude, I don't hate a plus 900 shot on Asu. I'm picking Asu to win by decision, but dude, I mean, like Nicolau's chin just keeps getting checked, and he's coming off, you know, that serious knockout loss to Brandon Royval. That was a step-in knee right on the chin. Brutal KO. So I don't hate that bet at all, JP. That's a great bet. Also give credit to where it's due. Uncle Weezy gave out a cheaty takedown prop at plus 700 on Twitter. It dropped to plus 400, but it still helped secure extra units for the night. Oh, no, I don't think it hit, dude. They didn't give him the takedown. At least it didn't look like it on my book. I didn't get credit for it, but like, yeah, we beat the line movement on that one. And I said that I liked that plus 700 because I thought the fight was going the distance. I also cashed a plus 270 ticket on Cheaty by decision. Jared Gooden's always had bad takedown defense and a bad get-up game, so I figured at some point during that fight, Cheaty would get a takedown, and he did. He got what he got on top, but he wasn't credited for it because I think that Gooden was going for a sacrifice throw, so he wasn't credited with it. But at plus 700. You know, the read was pretty decent in my opinion. We just didn't cash it, unfortunately. I like Jessica point spread as a parlay piece. Yeah, I don't mind that. And that's probably sitting around what, minus 150. Let's see where it is on DraftKings. Jessica plus 3.5 is minus 225. That's the same price I got on the Corey McKenna one last week, which was greasy, but it fucking cashed. It's not bad, Abdi. We got my guy Olajuwon Dream in the room saying, oi, and saying, shout out Winnipeg, enter the Katonaverse. Winnipeg, stand up. Manitoba, stand up. Canada, stand up. Brad Katona is going to try to get your country back on track here. And we'll see if he can do it against a very tough opponent in the undefeated Gene Matsumoto. JP Taylor saying Jocelyn's cut hair weighs a half pound. That's crazy. We got J-Dub saying just tuned in, picking up the children from school, had to get the volume up First thing said was sick and round titty punch. Getting strange looks now. Hey, shout out to J-Dub's kids. Thanks for hanging out. Shout out to J-Dub for being a great parent and picking your kids up from school. Let's make some money this weekend. On Friday, I hope you and the kids got something fun planned for this weekend. We've got Olajuwon Dream saying LMAO to that one. So J-Dub's comment. Katona plus 3.5 is the play. I don't mind that at either. I saw that at plus 100 earlier in the week. I think it's around minus 130 right now. Minus 135 for the plus 3.5 points handicap. I think Katona, if he gets a takedown, gets to a dominant position, he can win one of these rounds easily. So I don't mind that play at all. We got JP saying, I don't like it, or I like it. What's the odds? Minus 135. And then Broke DJ said, for those of you who don't know the whole setup, when you do the Weezy Patreon, you actually get all the Weezy stuff. You're custom to plus videos of him and DFS by the numbers exclusively to Patreon. Yes. Yeah, I just didn't want to put all the content out there. You know, I mean, like these 2.5-hour videos where I'm reading a 50-page script. It doesn't seem fair to give it out for free on YouTube when, you know, with the amount of work that I'm putting into it. I wanted to go to the people that support the work. We got T-Rex saying the man, the myth, Uncle Weezy. What is up, T-Rex? Thanks for hanging out. We got minus 135. Yes. Yo, Nacho's in the house. What's up, Nacho? Good to see you here. Hopefully with that picture that you have there that you're not going to burn down the whole office. Just give the man his stapler back. We got JP saying Asu's stand-up is underrated, especially the power. If his stand-up is underrated and you think that plus 900 then on the KO is like one of the juicier bets of the week. Yes, and let's make some money, says my guy Nacho. Elkins might be part White Walker. Yeah, dude, he is. Dude, I love Elkins, man. He's awesome. So when Charles Johnson is fighting, I consider the Charles Johnson fight week, and I posted a thing on Twitter, which I do all the time. I interact with Charles ever since LFA. Me and him are friends. I made a post where I showed a picture of every fight on the card, zoomed in a little bit so I didn't show the main event or heavyweight open. I explained how Charles Johnson would beat the shit out of and finish every single fighter on the card, literally, and he would beat the shit out of unfinished easily. We got, for sure, JP, I'm considering it too. Elkins round 3 seems real possible. Yeah, it does. Elkins round 3 is one of those bets that you can just kind of make with your eyes closed every week. And after 10 fights, you're going to be up some units. We'll beat up and finish literally every fighter on the card. I think the 45-pound weight class might be the easiest fights of all. I'm not sure it's a better value that Matsumoto decision at minus 110. Yeah, it might not. I mean, like, if you guys are always free to change the parlay in any way that you think. If you like the minus 130 for Katona better, I don't think Katona's winning this fight. I think Matsumoto is winning this fight. I think he's going to land more damage in every single round. Katona has no submission game to speak of. He's not submitting anybody at this level, and he's an okay wrestler. So I get the people wanting to take that shot on Katona, but if Katona is just not special. He's just a really smart fighter who knows how to win minutes, but minute winning is overrated these days. It really is. And the younger guys win these fights for very good reasons. I think I'm staying away. I think the risk of Katona getting finished is greater than it seems. Yeah, that would be wild if Matsumoto was the first person to finish him. We got same, unless it's a really good value. I usually only play point spreads when I think the dog has more finishing potential, and that definitely isn't Katona. And JP agrees with that. Do I like Charles on DraftKings? Yeah, I don't mind Charles on DraftKings this week because I think that wrestling upside with Charles Johnson. But now you're getting wrestling upside. You're getting the favorite and a guy who already throws a decent amount of volume on the feet as well. So I think Charles is a pretty decent play on DraftKings this week. I like him better than I normally would. Let's see here. Charles Johnson stuff. I have a post where Charles responded to MMA Guru and talked about getting some motivation and climbing mountains. I reposted it and put it in my time where I was climbing up the mountains myself. I have great interaction with Charles. He liked the thing where I posted myself looking like a savage with my shirt off in the mountains in front of waterfalls and Red Rapids and then showing a steep climb. Is Kyler KO or points plus 280 worth it instead of the money line? Do you see any sub potential? I think that Rob Font has been submitted. I think he got submitted by Pedro Munoz, if I'm not mistaken. Let's have a look-see here. Font. Did he lose by Munoz submission, guillotine choke? And then if you look at the stats, which I'm looking at, but you guys can't see, Rob Font. So Kyler Phillips has a win by sub and a win by KO at the UFC level, but I think the submission win might have been over like somebody like Cameron Else or somebody like that. So you don't really care. Yeah, Font's been a very durable guy. He's never been knocked out as a professional in 28 fights, but he's been on death's doorstep so many times. Yeah, it's tricky. Kyler's minus 450 because I think he's live for a sub. I think he's live for a KO, and I think he's live for a decision. I don't know why there's all this hype over Kyler Phillips. Rob Font has always been a savage and a tough guy and a hard to beat. I'm taking money line, bro. Rob Font money line. Parlayed over 1.5 in all 3 women's fights. Okay, there you go. You're crazy. I don't understand. Kyler Phillips is not some kind of killer. He gets tired and literally just has a bunch of karate that he tries. He's kind of a joke who's probably going to get his ass kicked. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, like Rob Font's 37 years old at this point. He flashed power against Giannis, who I don't rate at all. I think I was always the guy who was saying Giannis is fucking terrible. He has no grappling game, but they clearly tried to get Giannis the best and easiest path to having a number next to his name. They didn't give him anybody that could grapple his way out of a paper bag. And I bet on Font against Giannis. And I did not cash because I had Font by fucking decision. And he went out there and just sparked that dude. So, yeah, I mean, I think Kyler is going to easily get takedowns whenever he wants them here. And I think that he's going to land the heavier shots at range. Font does hit hard. Yeah, he's finished a lot of his wins. We got Caveman likes it. Pereira is going to tenderize Fluffy's midsection. Yeah, he's going to, I think so. Weezy, this 4-legger comes out to plus 665 on Bet 365. I love it. Let's go, man. We got What's Up, Unk? Sneak watching at work with my guy, Mushroom MMA, Philly's very own. Let's stack tickets like flapjacks. Let's go, Mushroom. We got plus 673 if you do Kyler KO points. Okay, that's interesting. Smash Venmo. Let's go. We got Moy's audio in the room saying, "Oi, what's up, Moy's? Good to see you hanging out." We got the gloves are really making it so there are less knockouts. I'm actually glad about that. I didn't know if I was going to believe the data on such a short sample size. Yeah, I've been betting a lot of decision props lately. These are my favorites, says TJ Brown in the Cupid's Lingerie commercial. Check out my guy Moyes on Twitter for the Cupid's Lingerie commercial for TJ Brown. TJ Brown, you will be missed, my friend. We got Stacks in the room saying, "What's up?" We got Mushroom saying, "What's up" to Moyes. We got Moyes saying, "What's up" to Philly. Mushroom. We got Mushroom saying, "Smash the like." I agree. We got Jose Lopez saying, "Stack them like flapjacks." What are you thinking about PFL? I didn't tape it at all. I know that Lucrative did a PFL breakdown. So I would check that out because he actually capped it. I'm not capping it. I'm going to try to watch Ngannou. I want to see Ngannou fight, but other than that, don't care. We got Mushroom saying, "What's up" to Olajuwon Dream. We got Tristan saying, "What's your most confident take for this card?" My most confident take is that the fight finishes under 3.5 rounds for Hernandez versus Pereira. I love that as a parlay piece this week. But this is a card, Tristan, where I have one bet. Dude. I had like 9 units in bets last week. I was firing on everything that felt good. I've got one bet on this card. I hate this card from a gambling perspective, but I love violence in that main event. As a matter of fact, the probability parlay this week that I do on my probability show, here's what we came out with. Came out to plus 140. And this was under 3.5 rounds for Hernandez versus Pereira, under 1.5 rounds for Despain versus Lane, and over 2.5 rounds for Katona Matsumoto comes out to plus 140. That's probably something I'm going to bet for 1 unit this week. I think those are my 3 favorite juice spots. Love the over in the Katona fight, like the unders in the Despain and the Hernandez fights. So Jonathan Edwards, same answer for Tristan there. We got Nacho saying, anyone concerned about Hill's bad weight cut? Hill? Who's Hill? Yeah, there's no one named Hill on this card. Yes, sir. Fucking value in the game. Keep it going. Yes, appreciate you, AN. Jocelyn's weight cut. Oh, Jocelyn's weight cut. Yeah. I am concerned about it. She looked horrible. We Gus P saying Weezy's Patreon is the best. Dude, I got to get TJ Brown to do that for me, although he never would. I've talked way too much shit about TJ Brown and his haircuts in order to get him to pimp my Patreon, but I appreciate you. Last time people thought that Charles Johnson was going to wrestle, he came out afterwards and said he purposely did not wrestle, and he proved a point. He specifically said he proved a point and KO'd Van. Yes. No picks for PFL. Right now, people thought Charles was going to wrestle, and he beat the shit out of Van on the feet. I guarantee you, he beat the shit out of this donkey on the feet. You have no idea how good Charles Johnson is now. He's going to be the champion soon, bro, and he would beat the shit out of literally every single person on this card and finish them all. Yeah, dude, no, he wouldn't. Rolando Despain would actually bury him 40 feet deep into the earth. He would absolutely kill him, but that's a heavyweight. So, yeah, I'm not high on Charles Johnson. I don't think he fights particularly smart. We've seen no power from him outside of that Josh Van knockout, and that's a great knockout. That's a phenomenal knockout. Not going to take anything away from him there, but it's the only time he's flashed any power in the UFC level. And a lot of times, even when he was fighting 5 rounds back in LFA against Horiguchi, against Mota, losing the first 3 rounds of those fights. I mean, he starts too fucking slow. He's got to start fighting smarter. And if he goes out there and pulls some dumb shit and just says, I'm going to prove a point and not wrestle versus Sue, I think the people that lay minus 210 on him are going to be fucking nervous as hell. Mickey Mouse, almost identical. Let's see here. Jesus Christ. I got to get going here. All right. Let's see. Sergeant Reed TKO round 3. That could possibly happen. Matsu over 2.5 rounds. I like that one, says Lane. Yeah, I like that too. That's a big wide line. We got love the Winnipeg and Manitoba shout out. You got it, dude. I have no picks. I don't even know who the top 3 fights are, JP. We got Lane saying, "Oi, Weezy, what's up, Lane?" We got, "Yo, Weezy, my state in Australia just banned MMA betting. Any suggestions for a workaround?" Get a VPN and sign up on betonline.ag. That is the best book. That's an offshore book. They got the most lines. They got really narrow spreads on their money line bets. But you're going to have to get a VPN so that you can sign in. You can have your internet connection from an area where the betting will be allowed. And then you're going to have to be able to find a way to fund the book as well. You might have to go and buy some cryptocurrency in order to do it. But there's a lot of ways to use technology to get around not being able to legally gamble, in your area. And the other thing is too, you want to bet on a book like Bet Online because they're offshore. They're not going to report your earnings to anybody. So if you're already being banned from gambling, well, then fuck them if they want to tax you on something that they've already banned. So that's why you would go to an offshore book where they're not going to tell the Australian tax agency that you're making money there if you are. So that would be the best way to do it. VPN, get a betonline.ag account, fund it with cryptocurrency, and then work that way. We got Evelyn and Asu is plus 120, says Steel Bet. We've got Jason Wood saying, one of you degenerates is going to parlay all 3 women's fights. Fess up. It won't be me, man. I'm not doing it, Jason. Hell no. We got Tristan saying, Reek, leave Australia probably. No free speech there. And Reek says, tempting. Yeah. Thoughts on Fabian Edwards fight? I have no idea. We fade Robelis this week. I don't mind it. I don't mind fading him, but I just don't think Austin Lane is the guy to do it with. He's not durable enough. I think the reason that Cortez Acosta had such a phenomenal performance against Robelis is because that dude is fucking durable and he's got really good conditioning. I don't think Lane has either. So, I mean, I can see fading Robelis. I'm not going to do it, though. I just don't have the sack to do it. I think Robelis probably wins by first round KO. What's the parlay? The parlay is Gene Matsumoto by decision. Over 2.5 rounds, Elkins Pineda, Kyler Phillips money line, and the under 3.5 rounds for Hernandez Pereira. That comes out to plus 589 on DraftKings, and it comes out to plus 635 on Bet Rivers. So we got finally getting for a live stream for Unc. We appreciate you calling me Husker. Good to see you hanging out. We got Lima saying that the event started. Not yet, not till tomorrow. And ring a ding ding. My guy called me Husker with the $10 donation. Truly appreciate you keeping the fucking lights on here in your Uncle Weezy's studio. Thank you so much for the generous donation. Call me Husker. It's good to have you hanging out live. Let's see. We got whoever mentioned earlier that they thought Kona would have a chance to get finished. He's never been, Katona. He's never been finished, and he's lasted all three. Let's see. We got, why is no one live? I don't know. Let's see here. We got, yes, I'm out of my mind, pro schmo bets, but I'm out of my mind. But I DM with Weezy on Twitter, and I go way back. He's my real uncle, I say. We've been working on a story that you guys are not going to believe for sure. Let's see here. Kyler will have a huge speed advantage. That is for sure. We got JP saying, I don't usually parlay, but I love the Greasy four-legger because it gives me different angles to consider. Thanks, Weezy. Best of luck and enjoy the fantastic weather around Chicago this weekend. Yeah, it's really nice outside. I've got to get outside right now, you guys. Yeah, Radislav in here saying, oi, what is up? Let's see here. All right, you guys, I got to bounce. Truly appreciate all of you guys here. And let's make some money this weekend. For the Patreon people, I'm gonna finish up the rest of my bets here, and I've got the UFC Edmonton stats ready to go for you guys. So I'm gonna get that spreadsheet out there on the Patreon, on the Dub Club, and let's try to cash this Greasy four-legger. Gave you all my picks earlier in the show, and let's make some money. Let's stack cashed tickets like flapjacks. See those flapjacks there from my guy Gus. We got my guy Olajuwon from Manitoba saying, have a good one, Weezy. Let's get it, you guys. Have a great weekend. Let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC Vegas 99. God bless each and every one of you guys, and I will see you on Sunday night, 6:15 Central Time for Stat Diggers with my guy DFS by the Numbers. Take care, everybody, and good luck on the fights. Later.